Hi everybody! So my name is Luna. Thank you so much for coming to my stream. And I'm going to do a tarot reading again on the David and Celeste situation. So I've been following them really closely. I previously did a tarot reading that was put on my YouTube channel that no one subscribed to, which is fine. I have one, I have a bigger channel that I have a lot of subscribers to, and then I have one that has like nobody, and that one's specifically for tarot. So I decided I was gonna try to like do this live streaming to nobody right now because there's nobody here. But in case somebody comes in and wants to be a part of the stream, that's super cool. If not, I can put this video on my YouTube channel as well. So I am going to give a little bit of information about me. So my name is Luna, and I have been a tarot reader for about 4 years. And I recently started an Etsy channel like 4 or 5 months ago, and I am trying to make videos on YouTube, but those are not super successful. But this is just a sort of hobby side passion for me, and that's my cat Quentin. I don't know where he went, but he went somewhere. So I am clairsentient, and that means I am someone who reads energy. I'm also claircognizant, which means that I do get information directly downloaded, but that information is not something that I control, so I go into the energy, and then sometimes more information comes to my head as I go along. So I'm going to be using, because it's October, because this is a murder story, possibly, potentially, nefarious, my horror tarot deck, which has some really cool artwork. It's a very beautiful deck, and I will be going through the cards as I go along, and I will tell you what they each mean and all of that stuff. So the same stuff that I kind of do when I do readings for people on Etsy, I'm going to do for this reading here on David and Celeste. So I think everybody kind of knows the story, and if not, you can probably look it up. It's a big news story right now. David is a musician that went viral on TikTok for some of his music, and a young girl named Celeste, who is 14 years of age when she passed, was found in the trunk of his car. And he has not been arrested or anything, but there is a lot of evidence to say that the two of them are perhaps in a relationship, even though she was underage and the relationship was inappropriate. So there's a lot of information about sort of the timeline, and a lot of people are kind of looking into David's music, trying to find signs and trying to figure out when she was murdered and when she was last heard from, which seems to be the first week of August, and how that kind of coincides with when David went on tour and things like that. But we don't really have anything definitive as to how she died, because she was in an advanced state of decay at the time of her death. So that is kind of why I want to take a look into this case and do some more. So I did a previous reading that kind of went into the relationship between the two of them, and right now I'm going to be, I want to look deeper into the point in which she passed, because I wasn't getting a lot of information when I was looking into that. So I'm going to do that now. If anybody ends up in this actual stream, which would be super cool, feel free to chat and make yourself known. I don't think anybody's in the chat right now. This is like my first time really streaming, so I'm very new to this. But since I'm recording, it's okay if nobody shows up. So we're gonna start. I really want to know what the energy is around the time of her death and what is happening, right? So I'm gonna go really broad and see if that helps illuminate anything, because I was trying to look. I don't think my questions were super good when I got to the point of her passing. I did really well trying to get into the relationship aspect between the two of them, but I didn't quite get into, I really want to figure out how she passed. From the energy of the cards, at least. So, I've pulled 3. And I want to get her energy around the time that she passed. 8 of Swords is interesting. Okay, can I just say something about this horror deck and why I like it? As you can see, this is the 8 of Swords, and that is literally feeling trapped. In the case, when I do these sort of murder mysteries, unsolved mysteries, things like that, that may have nefarious things, this might literally mean that she was bound. It could be trapped. She wanted to leave and she couldn't go, because I was getting that energy that she wanted to leave, and something like, I think David was preventing her from leaving, or there were other things that were preventing her from leaving. But I'm starting to wonder if she was literally bounded at the time that she died, or in a position where she couldn't move. Because the moment I see this, and I see how she's blindfolded and her hands are tied, makes me wonder if she was physically tied. She definitely couldn't escape, because I'm trying to get to the energy around the exact moment that she passed. So that means she's in a position where she can't escape. Here's that King of Swords again. You know, there's a lot of swords happening, and it makes me wonder if she was stabbed. I usually don't look at swords very literally. This is also, like, this is his energy. This came up when I did the reading last time. He comes across as, I don't say, like, verbally manipulative or abusive, or, how do I say it? He's talking a lot. He's arguing, and he's potentially pretty angry. But this is also somewhat, there's like, he's somewhat composed. Okay. I'm kind of assuming it's David's energy, because I pulled David's energy as this before, which is interesting. But I don't actually know for sure. Okay, right? This is her energy. The King of Swords, I don't know, I feel like, how do I say this? This is supposed to be her energy at the time, but what it feels like is she's tied up and she can't leave, and he's being domineering, right? So that's what I'm feeling, like she's in a position where she is vulnerable and he's towering over her, is kind of what it feels like to me. Now, whoever this is, because if it's not David, then it's another boyfriend, which there was potential for that in the energy last time when I looked at it. But I literally just pulled the Lover card in reverse, which it feels even more like David right now. The Lover's card in reverse is kind of literal in this circumstance. If you see here, that is a man and woman in love, but there's also this lady is above them in this deck, like something hovering over them. So this is not feeling a connection. This is like she stopped wanting to be with him and wanted to leave, and she couldn't. That is the energy that I'm getting. But I wonder if she's physically trapped and he's towering over her. Because, like, if you just, the way that these cards look next to each other feels like someone's standing above another person. So I'm going to clarify that with 3 more cards. Okay. Fool. She looks like she's running away, and she can't run away. This is why these decks are pretty cool, because the Fool's usually the start of a new beginning, without making a mistake, a bad decision. But I literally just feel like she's trying to run away and she can't. Which is not the normal interpretation, but I'm letting these cards in this deck kind of tell me what's going on, because they're really cool. 8 of Cups. Look at her trying to... This is a woman each time, and the woman is walking away. Eight of Cups. I'm actually curious, because sometimes the book has its like own interpretations of things, and I actually want to see what it says for 8 of Cups. Why are Cups last? That's weird. I always think of Cups coming in first. Look, this one here says the 8 of Cups reminds you to walk away from a serious problem that cannot be solved on your own. It's alright to deviate from plans if you don't, when the things don't feel right. I'm telling you, there's this insane energy coming through of like her wanting to leave. And here's the 10 of Cups in reverse. Crazy that this is like filled with blood. The 10 of Cups is like the ultimate happy, the ultimate satisfaction, particularly romantically, emotional fulfillment, and it is completely reversed. And this is like her being ready to walk away from this completely. I don't know why it's giving me, like, when I saw the videos of David, of him saying like, oh, some of the, like, whoever it was that he had loved, he thought it would be forever, and that person's not there anymore, right? And, you know, kind of a funny thing to say for a person who's passed, but it's almost like he's talking not about someone dying, but somebody betraying him and no longer loving him anymore. And what he did after that, as a response to that, I can't say for sure. But I definitely feel like at some point here she's emotionally walked away from this situation, from this man, and I think she's ready to leave and go home. And she can't. She is trapped. That is the biggest thing that I keep getting, is that she is trapped. Possibly tied up. So many swords, but I don't, okay. I really want the manner of death. That would be super hard to figure out, because the feeling I'm just getting over and over again is that feeling of trappedness and that feeling of realizing, or just like him angry, towering over. Not, it's scarily contained though. There's my cat in the background. Quentin. Quentin, say hi. Okay. Because that's weird, because how do we go from that to being dead? Because I've tapped into energy during these readings. Well, sometimes people just like get drunk and fall out of a window or something, and I'll get this kind of like regret, or like I'll pull the Fool as like stupidity. But it's, I mean, I pulled the Fool for her, but I just keep feeling like she's trying to run away. I don't think alcohol's involved, particularly. Sometimes I pull out, it's like you're not in your right mind. But the Fool was in reverse. 6 of Cups in reverse. I think I pulled this last time. This is like literal childhood, immaturity. It's also the past. But I was pulling something about, I feel like I felt this energy last time, that she either thought she was pregnant or said she was pregnant. I guess she wasn't, because they didn't find anything, but she had never been pregnant. But I still pulled that card. Okay, Page of Pentacles. the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. I'm trying to think. I feel like I just got another idea that, not that I know for sure, of her potentially taking her own life. I still feel like David is responsible, but I just keep not picking up the manner in which he's killed her. And I'm pulling all these things about sadness and the past. It's not full grief though, so I don't think it's that. Quentin, can't go out right now. Okay. This is for David at the time of her death, and whether or not, like, what he was feeling and whether or not he was responsible. Ooh, that's bad. That's a justice card. That feels like he thinks he's righting a wrong. King of Pentacles in reverse. Look at this man towering over a young girl again. This also has to do with his career. And I read this before when I was doing the last reading. It was like his career is going up, and this is like starting to become something that's a problem in a way that it wasn't before. The more popular, the more famous, and the more his career goes up, and because it happened so quickly. And I think he fell in love with her before he was getting really famous, and then it's like became clear that, like, you know, I don't know why I'm seeing in my head that, like, she ran away without telling him and showed up at his house without telling him, and he kept her there and he couldn't do anything about it, and it was like a big liability. Quentin. Okay. Four of Cups. It's on a little platter here. This is apathy. This is apathy. This is he stopped caring. He went into like a state where he was emotionally dead. Why am I getting that? He blacked out. Okay. That's why the energy's not angry. That's why it's so calm. I don't know why, like, he, like, went into a state where he stopped caring. Like, because she broke him in his mind, right? So, not me pulling for her. And I get this bride. Page of Wands is usually a spark. There's literally a bride on this thing, okay? I kind of asked if she was responsible for her own death with these questions, though, which is interesting. But, I mean, it's obviously going to say, it's not going to directly say yes or no. See, Seven of Cups is fantasy, is getting caught up in a dream of being married and being a mother. Okay. then Queen of Cups. It's a lack of empathy. Queen of Cups. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. Quentin! I don't know where he went. Actually, he disappeared. Never mind. Okay. Queen of Cups is usually, she's really empathetic and she's really caring and kind. Why is she in reverse? Alright, this is not saying that she ended her own life. I'm just gonna say that. Not that I thought she did. Quentin, no. I'm gonna follow his state of mind. Alright, I'm gonna have to let him out, but he's not gonna be good. Quentin, what? What? What is it? Hi. Do you want hour or do you want food? What do you want? Sometimes he just doesn't like when I'm on the computer for too long. Cats don't really care if you're streaming or not, I see. I don't have anything for you, buddy. What happened? Do you know what happened to this case? Oh, I have 3 cards waiting for me. Okay, ready? Let's go. The Sun card. So that's happiness, actually. And then the Tower card is something bad happening outside of his control. And then 5 of Wands leads to a fight. So everything is fine, and then something happens and they get into a fight. What is the Tower in reverse? I'm gonna have to kick you out the next time I do a video. You can't have you screaming in my videos, buddy. The Empress. You know, low-key, this is like a mother card. I don't know why I keep feeling like there's this thing about children. Like, I feel like it's possible that she lied about being pregnant when she wasn't, and it led into a big fight. I don't know. I pulled in the last reading I did about this that it was possible that she was using it as an excuse for why she needs to go home and meet her mom. Alright, that's enough. Come on, we're going outside. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Go outside. Goodbye. Okay. Sorry about that. He's just like, I don't know. I think at this time it's like 11 o'clock. I think he suddenly wakes up right before bed and doesn't like when I'm on the computer. Hierophant in reverse. Again, this is about wanting to go back home. When I pulled it when I pulled it last time, it was like actually a couple of days ago because I did it on the 6th, like 4 days ago. This is like all of the tradition, all of the stuff that she's like school, home, everything she's supposed to be doing. And you know, this card I said before, it's like someone's pulling her away and being in reverse. It's like she wanted to go back and she couldn't. And it keeps getting paired with these like mother cards that I just feel like, oh, maybe it's just her mother. Maybe she's not a mother, maybe she just wants her mother. Wasn't her mother abusive technically, from what people have said? I think she wants to go home because she misses her mother, as any young girl would, even when they're fighting. Because a lot of people have complicated relationships with their parents and they still love them, and he does not want her to go. He's like, you left. Is what I'm hearing in my head. Like, you left because she's. Why do you want to go back? Why do you want to go back to these people that treated you like you came to my house, like wanted to get away, and now you want to go back? Like, why would you go back to these people that abused you? And if she goes back, he can get in trouble, and he's doing too well in his career right now to deal with that. That's what I'm thinking. I think that's what it is. I don't think she's lying, but I think this is like her literal mother, like. I'm gonna hurt it. It'd be introspection, but I'm getting isolation. Look at this house in the middle of the woods. He was leaving a lot, and he was leaving her there by herself a lot. She was unhappy, and she wanted to go home. I can feel so strongly that she wanted to go home. Okay, but how does this end with her dying? And which neighbor is smoking? And I can smell it. Coming through my window. Sorry, this is like all chaotic now because my cat was crying and whatnot. Okay. The chariot's a car. The chariot is a car. King of Cups is in reverse. This is a man, this is a romantic thing. Did he drive her somewhere? Did he say he was okay and everything was fine and then he drove her somewhere? Did she end up in the car because she died somewhere outside the house and near the car? I got a little worried for a second, thinking that perhaps she was alive, tied up, and then put in the car. I'm not sure. The High Priestess. Intuition, secrets, maybe even lies. You know, I want to read what this one says for the High Priestess. Ooh, immediately popped up. Feared for her feminine energy and decisive judgment. Like an evil sorceress who sees into situations and knows instinctively what must be done at the right time. You decide your fate with confidence. I think they drove somewhere. And something happened while they were in the car. A decision was made. A conversation was had. A fight is had. Did he lie that he was going to bring her home? And then didn't bring her home? Knight of Wands. This is the anger. And the star of the Ouija board in this picture, and that's crazy. This is, again, like, look, this is a star, and then, like, the Knight of Wands has this moon. Yeah, but it has a moon. at night. I'm feeling like it's at night. There's night in this one. I mean, they're all at night in these pictures, but I'm getting a couple of moons for this section of asking. I'm trying to like get to that point. Someone says they don't love you anymore. Ace of Cups, right? It's also an overflowing of emotion. So it's the start of love. You know, I pulled this before and I couldn't get whether or not this was a third party. But it kind of is like it's upside down. It's like they're pouring the love out of the cup. It's kind of what I'm feeling right now. The Two of Swords is a decision, and look, this person's in the ground with the Two Swords coming out of the ground. A decision. I said that before, right? A decision's made in that moment, in the car. I can't confirm some of the other stuff, but the part that feels like, I don't know why, I feel like they're driving. I feel like they stopped somewhere. I feel like there's a fight. I feel like she tried to break up with him and asked to go home. Now it's the King of Wands. Now the anger is coming in. Five of Swords again is another, and this is in reverse, this is another fight. This is winning at all costs. There's an internal struggle though, because it's in reverse. I don't know about you, but this Temperance card looks like a girl who's dead. Knocked out. It's usually about energy balancing out. Or an exchange. This, I feel like this just like balances out. The Four of Wands is celebration. And the two of them together will be again the Beast. And the Magician. Here it is, the Ten of Swords. I was like, this is a story. This is how we began. And this is, I just feel like this deeply, deeply trying to make this work, even though it was failing. And it eventually failed. It was happy while it was happy, and there was a deep, deep desire to make it work. I read in the other reading I did, it was like he was a bit obsessed and very big into the fantasy of love, and that kind of guided him a lot. We're so close. I want to know. I want to know how it happened. I usually can tell when the energy's not giving me anymore, and I just don't feel there yet. Judgment. This is when what happens, happens, and if you see there's again a dead girl in a graveyard. A zombie. The World in reverse, cycle coming to an end. It's in reverse. I feel like the cycle comes to an end. Somehow she dies there, and I don't know how. Remember, she's trapped. and he's towering over her. And if the two of them are alone in a car, that would make sense. If they were both in that Tesla, if he drove her somewhere away from the house. I see her being tied up and put in that trunk, though. I mean, there's a chance that it was after. I mean, there's a fight. There's a chance that afterwards she's then put in the trunk and then driven, and I'm just seeing that, and she's already unconscious, which is the temperance card that we saw. Oh shit, I just had an extra card here, and it was the devil. I didn't pull the third one. Well, I mean, we have this judgment card, the world of reverse, and we have the devil, so that's not surprising in the section where I'm getting to the point where she's definitely dead by this point. So if she dies beforehand and she's put in the trunk, or she's driven out somewhere and then is put in the trunk. You know, there's the towering over. There's at some point she goes unconscious, I feel like. I feel like she's knocked out before she's killed. I mean, that can go for strangulation pretty well. There were a lot of sword stuff, though, which could mean stabbing. Alright, let's ask. I don't know what it will come up, but the manner of death. Is it a stabbing, or are we strangulation, or some kind of drug overdose? She drugged in a put. I hope it wasn't that she was alive when she was tied up and put in that trunk. Front trunk. 6 of Wands in reverse. Not being recognized. Okay, I'm not entirely sure. 9 of Swords. Again, anxiety. Six of Swords. I'm pulling a lot of swords in one set of wands. Look at this person on a boat. It's like the river Styx. 6 of Swords is moving into calm waters. Why do I feel like she dies peacefully? Not that being strangled is peaceful. However this is, I feel like it's a slow, it's like a quiet transition into death. Alright, I'm pulling that cards for the last time. 10 of Wands being overburdened. A Queen of Swords. She was argumentative too. I'm not going to pretend that she's not. Her energy, she fights back. And maybe that's a good thing. She's a young girl in a relationship with an older man. And she was tough. And you saw her fight, like, you know, arguing with people. In that one video, she was tough. And that's not an insult onto her. She comes from a difficult background. And a lot of young girls are really tough when you come from a background like that. But she fought back. People don't like that when they're controlling. King of Cups. I think in his mind, he really tried to love her. And he thinks that he did the game of love correctly. And that it was her fault. And that is what I'm getting. Very, like, she betrayed me, she did this. I had a lot of blame on a young little girl that should not be getting blamed for this situation. And then the fact that she's dead, she didn't deserve that. I don't like this, like, he's moving on and doing all these concerts and whatever, and I think he probably knew she was dead. And that's really cold, but I think he really went numb. And because when I pulled that card before, I saw him going numb. Did he know? I just went numb. Let's see, 3 cards. Ah, not the death card. Yeah. If he didn't do it, he knew about it. 3 of Cups. Reverse. Strength card. This high key giving strangulation. But I feel like in the context of this, like, he's going out and partying and he's holding it all in, and he knew about the death. I think that was what was going on in that last 3. You know, just trying to hide his feelings in performance and music. But I think you do. Okay, so nobody joined the stream, and that's okay. But I'm gonna put this on my YouTube channel, and if you're watching this, thank you so much. And I'm gonna end here because we've already gone on for quite some time. But thank you, bye bye, and if you do eventually watch this, please leave a comment so that I can talk to people about it. I was hoping somebody would come join, but nobody did, but that's okay. Alright, that's enough. I'm not gonna say that again. Bye.